water is going to be a problem for days and days to come, and it's getting more and more urgent. We've seen these flash flood emergencies.
That slow motion, meaning people that are in the heavy rain will continue to be in the heavy rain for days still to come. I mean, we could double the records of some of these states for the most rain from a tropical system. Let's bring you some of the latest on our what was Hurricane Florence, now Tropical Storm Florence. Storm officially made landfall coming in this morning at 7:15 near Wrightsville Beach in North Carolina. And the sad news to report is that we now have at least 5 people that have been killed, including a mother and an infant with her that were killed when a tree fell on their house. At the latest check, roughly 900,000 people are without power across North and South Carolina. Those numbers are increasing by the minute. I'm going to show you that in just a second. First, I want to update you on the newest rainfall totals that just came in, and a staggering number out of Morehead City, 23.04, meaning you're only about an inch away from that state record with regards to rain from a tropical system. You're going to easily pass that, potentially within this hour, because it is still absolutely pouring there. We still have a tornado watch that continues through this evening over eastern North Carolina. This may have to be extended a little bit further north. We are watching a small area of extra spin, even as far north as southern portions of Virginia. That threat is there. Maybe not as likely to get a watch, but you could still have a couple more warnings. And that's because of this big spin and the outer bands. This next row coming in could also have some tornadoes along with it. It's not just tonight. We're looking into tomorrow, too. Severe weather potential and a chance for tornadoes for much of eastern South Carolina and southern North Carolina for tomorrow, as our storm system just barely moves further south. And we do see tornadoes with these tropical systems. It's not unheard of. It's not uncommon. They move quickly. They're usually weaker than, say, a supercell, but it is something that you need to pay attention to. It is, after all, still a tornado. Let's go through a couple of the reports that have come in from this big spiral. Now, number one, we're starting to get wind gusts of near 40 around Columbia, a little over 30 to 35 in and around Charleston. But the big show with regards to the storm reports are still further north. This is out of the Wake Forest area, where US 1A is closed near South Main Street because of ongoing flooding there. West of Raleigh, near Parkwood, trees down, large trees over a home there, which is a big threat and an ongoing threat through the rest of the night. And how about this? Flash flood with water rescues underway still in Goldsboro. The power outage issues continue to increase. North Carolina now 760,000, South Carolina 131,000. One of the big changes here in North Carolina is that the inland areas are starting to now be colored in red. We're also seeing more of those outages in South Carolina, which brings me to our own Mike Bettis. Mike, the power problems continue to increase. That trend, unfortunately, will continue right on through the night, potentially through the weekend, where wind and too much water are not a good combo for those trees.
No, not at all, because now we've saturated the soils, right? And so we've loosened what the roots have to hold on to down in the ground, right? In essence, you kind of lubricate that soil, and it's easier for those roots to come up, right? And overgo trees and some really gusty winds. Now, I will say this. Throughout the day today, we've had pretty much horizontal rain. Now the winds have backed off ever so slightly here in Myrtle Beach. We're getting more vertical rain. That's a good thing. I want to take you back, though, to when the real beginnings of it happened. That happened about mid-morning this morning. Check this out.
10:30 a.m. Starting to now feel the outer edges of Hurricane Florence hit us here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The rain has increased exponentially, and the winds have really picked up as well. Take a look out over the beach. Offshore wind, so everything's blowing out to sea right now.
Things have backed off for us a little bit when it comes to the wind. The rain, though, is still pouring down on us, and the good thing about what's happening with the water in the Atlantic Ocean is this. We've had a primarily offshore wind today, and so the water's gone out, not in. Even at high tide, the water was way out this morning. At noon high tide today, the water was hundreds of yards from the beach, which was absolutely fantastic. And tomorrow that could change. If we get now a shift in Florence, it's moving very slowly, but the gradual progression inland and west or southwest then brings in more of an onshore flow. And we could have that final punch be storm surge, which will mean that the flooding up into the rivers will stay a little bit longer than we might want it to, that's for sure. Hey, let's take you up a little bit farther into North Carolina tonight, into Charlotte, North Carolina, where meteorologist Reynolds Wolf is. Reynolds, how about this for you? Just got a text from my mother-in-law in Charlotte. She says, literally word for word, dang, we've already lost power.
It's hard to believe. You know, the problem with that is we're going to see more of that. That really is going to be sort of a chain reaction problem, so to speak. The numbers that Mark Elliott was talking about a short while ago, I think we're in excess of gosh, 800,000 people, approaching 1 million. And by the time I finish this sentence right now, I guarantee you there are even more power outages. Well, we're here in the city of Charlotte. We actually see some of Charlotte's finest racing right by right now. This fire truck, one of many that could be put to service as we roll forward in time. City services still operating, but I'll tell you, the airport, though open, may be closed as we roll forward because the wind, the rain, and all that's going to come with it. It's hard to believe, ladies and gentlemen, this is something that was swimming out of the expanse of the Atlantic, and we've had it now on our shores. But the story isn't really in there, but really some of the worst of it is yet to come in terms of the rainfall. In Charlotte, when we started our live broadcast earlier today, we had light to moderate showers. The wind began to pick up, but now we're going to see more of those, the shower activity really begin to intensify. Damage, we've had reports of that too, not only to the power outages, but a lot of tree damage. And as we heard from Mike Bettis talking about it so well, about how the ground being saturated, these huge oaks, some that have been around for a very long time, all it takes is a gust of wind from these outer banks, and guess what? They begin to drop. Well, we happen to be situated here in Charlotte. By tomorrow, some of the winds through these tall buildings are going to be kind of like what you see out west in the Santa Anas, where the air molecules, they come together, they intensify, they go even faster. So could have a bit of a wind tunnel effect here, possibly some damage in downtown Charlotte. Obviously, you see the trees right here. Could some of these be victims to some of the stronger winds? Too early to say, but there's certainly that possibility. I can tell you that we've seen something out here, Alex. That's been a great deal of the population that is not from here, and that these are visitors. They serve a purpose. Power line crews, and what they're doing is waiting for those winds to come down and then get out there and do the work. So eventually, what we can expect: the winds to drop, the rain to move out, and then it'll be replaced by something else. Not the sound of the wind, but the sound of chainsaws clearing out the roadways and trying to get things back into shape. But again, that's farther downstream. Right now, we're dealing with the impending problems with the system getting closer to us, Alex. You've seen it first very personally out there along the coast, but there's, again, that sledgehammer blow that we can expect across much of the Tar Heel State.
You are so right, Reynolds. And you mentioned you got to get through the event before you can even begin the cleanup. So, yeah, for people like Mike's in-laws who have been without power, just lost power here in Wilmington, we've been without power for, I would say, anywhere from 12 to 16 hours, depending on where you are. It's going to be a long haul because it's going to take the energy provider. Duke Energy has people stationed here, but here's the thing. When you've got winds like this, you can't send people out to start the repair to those lines. They got to wait till the storm moves out, and thanks to Florence's ever slow motion, it's going to stay problematic enough in terms of the wind that they can't get up there in those bucket trucks and try to be fixing those. Rain continues, and that obviously is going to lead to problems on the road. So even if you're watching, you live in Wilmington, but maybe you left Wilmington, don't think that the second the wind dies down and the rain stops that the threat's going to be over here in the Wilmington area, because there could be ongoing or prolonged flooding issues because of how much rain is still yet to come. And I want to bring in Dr. Knabb, because Dr. Knabb, this thing is moving so slowly, just creeping along. So what does the future of this look like? How much longer in a place like Wilmington, in a place like Myrtle Beach, are we going to be dealing with this?
I'd say for the balance of the weekend, you're still going to be experiencing a coastal storm with at least gusts to tropical storm force and that onshore flow and some ongoing heavy rainfall. And that's because when you've got a system that's, say 300 miles wide, and it's only moving 3 miles an hour. Well, I don't even want to try to do that math right now. That's a lot of hours, right? So that means going out through the weekend, and the center of circulation's here, but the center of action, well, there's many of them, and those nasty bands are pushing the moisture onshore. So we're still going to have the storm surge problem tonight when we get to the midnight high tide. in addition to the freshwater flooding, and in some places it's going to combine. So in places like Morehead City and New Bern, you've got the flash flood emergency in there, but we're going to have more storm surge tonight. It's just amazing how much water is making this situation more and more dangerous by the minute. And then in the Myrtle Beach and Wilmington areas, the farther this system goes west, the more you'll continue to have onshore flow, and the more that the rain bands will bring flooding rains into that area. So this is just tomorrow night into Sunday morning. Look at how this continues in the same general area. We're having flash flooding now. And then in Charlotte, North Carolina, Sunday looks like the worst day overall for flash flooding. Team coverage continues at the coast and inland, wind and water. Florence bringing it your way. Stay tuned.
Enhance your moments. San Pellegrino, tastefully Italian.
In just days, Publishers Clearinghouse awards the $2,500 a week forever prize. Win $2,500 a week for your life. Then after that, someone you choose gets $2,500 a week for their life. Don't miss your final chance to win. Enter at PCH.com and October 26th. Win forever.
Do you suffer aches and pains from poor circulation? Are tired, aching legs stopping you from enjoying life? You don't have to suffer any longer. Relieve your aches and pains with Revitive Medic Circulation Booster, a new drug-free home treatment cleared by the FDA that significantly improves circulation in your legs and feet. Just one relaxing session a day, and you'll feel back in control. Medical conditions, age, or inactivity can cause poor circulation. The result, aches and pains that ruin your everyday life. Only Revitive Medic's patented wide pulse waveforms stimulate the nerve endings in your feet to get your lower leg muscles pumping and actively improve your circulation, relieve your aches and pains, and strengthen your leg muscles.
I've tried everything to get rid of my pain, and nothing has worked like Revitive. And even better, it's not a drug.
My granddaughter asked me to dance with her. Well, I can't turn down my granddaughter, right? So I danced 2 long dances with her, and I would never have been able to do that without Revitive.
It makes a big difference, quality of life. It's nice to have that filling back and have the control back.
Award-winning design makes Revitive Medic easy to use. Just place your feet on the foot pads and increase the intensity using the remote control. In minutes, you'll be enjoying relief as Revitive's clinically proven impulses take your aches and pains away. Discover why 94 out of 100 people who try Revitive keep it. Because it works. Try risk-free with our 60-day money-back guarantee. If Revitive Medic doesn't relieve your aches and pains, return it and we'll refund the purchase price, the shipping, and even pay the return shipping. That's how confident we are in the power of Revitive. Call 1-800-956-0509 or go to tryrevitive.com right now. That's 1-800-956-0509.
You don't have to live with pain. You just have to take the leap and try Revitive.
Season after season.
XL Energy Delivery Guy here, delivering support to our business customers. With loads of programs and rebates to help you save on things like more efficient lighting. Oh, and we can also connect you to our energy efficiency specialists. They're experts at helping you find cost-effective improvement opportunities for your business. And they know exactly where to look. This is the only way to travel.
Visit XLEnergy.com to get started. XL Energy. Responsible by nature.
Welcome to the Xfinity store.
Thanks, Janet. It's my happy place. You can learn how to switch to Xfinity Mobile, a new wireless network that saves you cash. And you can get 5 lines of talk and text included with your internet. And over here, I'm having my birthday party. DJ Fluffernutter, hit it!
Simple, easy, awesome. Ask how to get $300 back when you sign up for Xfinity Mobile and purchase a new Samsung phone. Visit your local Xfinity store today.
The Emmy-nominated weather network on cable.
When this much rain falls, it is a life-threatening situation.
Is the most essential coverage on TV.
Currently in our area, 88 degrees under sunny skies. Tonight, generally clear. Low 59. Winds south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, sunny skies. High 94. West-southwest winds shifting to east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, a mostly clear sky. Low 62. Winds south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back as we are tracking Florence, another view from the International Space Station, which somehow just gives you the scope of the size of these storms, right? When you can see it with the kind of the arms of the space station on our little blue marble spinning around, and so much of the screen, as you can see here, taken up by that very storm that we've been following. You can maybe start to understand some of the scope of the disaster that's unfolding when you can see the size of this beast. Here with Dr. Knabb, of course, hurricane expert. Dr. Knabb, I want to show you some of this. I want to talk about the coastal impacts with you that are still increasing tonight, right? We're now just getting to a high tide.
Yeah.
Or coming towards a high tide. We're not even there yet.
Yeah, we're on the way up. We're kind of on a noon and midnight-ish high tide cycle. So we had the high tide around noon today, and you saw some of the pictures the Mike Seidel showed in the Wilmington area, the water getting higher, but we're anticipating a lot of places, because it's on about the same schedule here in this part of the country. Around midnight tonight will be at the highest tide, and we've still got the onshore push. So that storm surge flooding, those numbers we talk about, the 4, 5, 6 or more above normally dry ground, that's a combination of storm surge and tide, so they work together to work against us on the 12s.
When we're going into a high tide in the next few hours, we've got this onshore flow. It's going all the way up the river system, right? So this, we say surge is kind of a coastal event, but the coast may be a river coast in this case, and that doesn't even factor in the rain, which is still coming down. I mean, when you have the river's going the wrong way and the inlet's going the wrong way, where's the water go at that point?
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look good because you have a combination of fresh water and saltwater flooding, because, yeah, normally water would flow downhill after it rains, and then the river would empty out into the Atlantic Ocean. But
when you look at Town Creek, there's no way. There's nowhere for that water to go.
It's amazing how powerful the wind is to keep the rivers and the ocean from flowing the way they usually do. And so as the salt water piles up and the rainwater drains off, you can get more flooding than what this graphic depicts, because this is only capturing the storm surge,
and then you have the rainfall on top of that. Speaking of the rainfall, I mean, it is just crazy still with this band rotating in from the coastline, going all the way back into central North Carolina now.
Yeah, often say center of circulation, not always the center of action.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of action in this whole 300-mile wide expanse of rain and wind, but this particular band, I mean, that is really, really treacherous, what is going to be happening for hours and hours to come. And this is a taste of what is to come, because as the center moves farther inland, these bands will move farther inland, and so places farther west, you might end up seeing a lot more heavy rainfall, likes of which we're seeing in places like Goldsboro.
So this is still a flash flood warning for Johnson and Wayne.
It's still an emergency. The rescue's ongoing.
There are water rescues ongoing. And near the coast, the National Weather Service is saying, my goodness, we have an intense situation on our hands for Carteret, Craven, and Pamlico.
Yeah, and even if the rain starts to lessen a little bit, the waters will continue to rise. And this is an area also that is headed toward high tide with onshore flow, more storm surge flooding. The New Bern area, my goodness, the amount of combined flooding that area could get tonight.
And bringing in Alex Wilson. Alex, just down the road from Morehead City is Jacksonville, North Carolina. They might be next to need a flash flood emergency, just looking at the radar. It is unbelievable, the rainfall rates that we've been seeing. I know you were in some of that through much of the day.
Yeah, you know, when it comes down hard. Getting a little bit of a break right now, finally. But then, you know, you add in the wind, and that wind-blown rain makes it nearly impossible to see at times. Of course, we saw that earlier today when we had that really western eye wall right over the Wilmington area, that wind gust of 105 miles an hour. At this point, the wind's gusting 40 to 50 miles an hour, but the rain that continues to just, I've said earlier, it's like when you're at the water park and, you know, they have those buckets you fill up and you pull the cord and you can flip it over and drench everybody underneath. It's like that kind of rain. So truly tropical downpours coming down with this. And because this storm, as Dr. Nab and Mark just mentioned, is not moving much at all, it's continuing to drop these rainfall rates over these communities, and that's why these flash flood warnings are flash flood emergencies and warnings have been issued. And I think that'll continue to be the case. Now, some of the local weather service offices have been asking people to get out the message via social media or maybe other mediums besides television, because a lot of people are without power at this point, so aren't watching television, but may still have their smartphone or have access to a laptop or a tablet. And you want to stay put. If you're in a safe spot, now is the time to stay where you are, because it's these overnight hours with the rain still coming down, that onshore flow in many areas, that it's going to be especially dangerous to be out on the road. So don't put yourself in harm's way. Stay put. And that goes for other areas that will see this heavy rain persist through the weekend. On the road's the most dangerous place you can be. Our coverage of Tropical Storm Florence continues after this.
Guys, is this you? Busting out of your pants? Out of shape? No energy or drive? Then you need Nutrisystem for Men.
I'm Chris, and I lost 120 pounds on Nutrisystem.
I'm Essex, and I lost 43 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Lose up to 18 pounds and 8 inches overall in your first month. Money back guarantee. Real guys, real results. Put down the wings, pick up the phone, and get with the program today. Order your 28-day plan now and save 40% off every program. That's 40% off breakfast, lunches, dinners, and snacks. For a limited time, save 40%. Plus, get 1 week of all new NutriPro shakes, packed with 20 grams of protein to help shrink your gut, free.
The food was delicious. I love the food. Pasta, pizza, so good.
Plus, we'll throw in FedEx shipping free.
It was perfect for guys like me who don't like to cook.
Lose up to 18 pounds and 8 inches overall in your first month.
It's simple. You eat the food, you lose the weight.
Go online or call 888-648-DIET and get free shakes plus 40% off every program.
Children shouldn't have to battle cancer, but they do.
My name is Abby, and I have Ewing sarcoma. St. Jude is trying to make it go away.
My name is Randall, and I have leukemia. I just finished my high dose of chemo.
You can join the battle to save lives by supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Our son was diagnosed with a medullary brain tumor. I remember hoping that he would make it to his first birthday.
Families never receive a bill from St. Jude for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because all a family should worry about is helping their child live. Please call or go online right now and become a St. Jude Partner in Hope for only $19 a month.
You don't realize the magnitude of how much you've really helped somebody. You know, I just want to say thank you.
1 in 5 children diagnosed with cancer will not survive.
I didn't want any other parents to have to go through this. I don't know where we would be without this hospital.
When you join with your credit or debit card right now, we'll send you this St. Jude t-shirt you can wear to show your support for the children of St. Jude.
St. Jude gives you all of that hope back. They gave me my daughter back.
St. Jude won't stop until no child dies from cancer.
These children fight hard. They fight for their life. And I don't think we could do it without you.
Please, call or go online right now.
We're forecasting maybe 40 inches or more of rain from this system.
We could be doubling our rainfall record here as far as the tropical system is concerned in the state of North Carolina.
Well, I would characterize the flood threat as the most life-threatening aspect of this.
If the storm hasn't reached you yet, it's still coming.
Boy, Florence has dealt a heavy blow to the Carolinas, that's for sure. Making landfall this morning as Category 1 hurricane. Gradually weakening, but a tortuously slow-moving storm. And our team in place tonight to keep you ahead of the dangers as we go through the night. Alex Wilson in Wilmington, North Carolina. Reynolds Wolf in Charlotte, North Carolina. Mark Elliott, our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knapp, the Weather Channel headquarters in Atlanta. And I'm Mike Bettis in Myrtle Beach. We've had extreme weather today. There's no questioning that. The winds have been up today in South Carolina as we've been the last state to feel the impacts, but it's slowly rolled our way here in the Grand Strand. High winds today, excessive rainfall. Haven't had the storm surge in South Carolina just yet. We haven't had that onshore flow to push the ocean water in, but we're already flooding here. Already extensive power outages. In South Carolina alone, 135,000 customers without power. We've seen trees go down. We've seen power lines go down, sparking fires even, but we've got such heavy rain to contend with, not only here at the coast, but all the way inland, places like Columbia, likely to see some flooding. Worried about the possibility of landslides and flash flooding in the upstate where the terrain gets a lot hillier. In western North Carolina, we could have issues with the same. All right, so this is going to go well beyond the coast. We know that we get a lot of issues at the coast, and maybe we feel the brunt of the issues at the coast, but this is going to go well inland, okay? Well inland, and one should be aware of that because we've got a slow-moving storm with ongoing impacts. Just to prove that, let's take you to Wilmington, okay? Alex Wilson's there. She was dealing with some pretty intense weather yesterday, and Alex, it's incredibly intense tonight as well.
Yeah, you know, earlier today, over 12 hours ago, we had those winds gusting over 100 miles an hour in Wilmington. But even this afternoon into the evening, winds gusting anywhere from 40 to 60 miles an hour. So the winds did not let up much as we went through the day. I mean, they let up a bit in scale, but in terms of just persistent, strong winds, that's been the norm for our Friday here in Wilmington. The rain, it was coming down heavy overnight. Guess what? It's been coming down heavy throughout the day. It will continue overnight and into our Saturday. So torrential downpours still in the cards for us. We're getting a little bit of a break now. If you were with us, say, about an hour ago, the rain was coming down in buckets, getting a bit of a break, but it's still raining with more to come. Now, you can't see behind me, but we've got the Cape Fear River that runs from north to south here across the community of Wilmington. Today, though, it's been moving from south to north, and that's thanks to that persistent southerly, southeasterly push of wind from Florence's circulation. So we've actually seen an onshore push. That'll help to exacerbate our freshwater flooding issues because that water will have nowhere to drain to. Then we have other challenges when we head into the upstate of South Carolina, western North Carolina. Reynolds Wolf is in Charlotte, where we not just have a flash flooding concern, but we also, Reynolds, have that threat of landslides and mudslides.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, it's something we really have to contend with, right? That these problems don't just really end at the water's edge, but they really are going to continue for quite a bit. Right now, you can see right behind me, we've got the wind that's been picking up a little bit. The rain for now has stopped, but that's not unusual at all when you have situations like this. What we're going to be dealing with is possibly more of that wind, more of that rain, the potential flooding, widespread power outages. It is so much that we're going to be dealing with. Now, when it comes to Charlotte, you have roughly, say, 860,000 people that actually live in the city, but for the greater metro area, roughly 2.6 million people. In terms of power outages, well, when you hear the numbers, it's around 800,000 or so, and those numbers are just going to keep on going. So this is a problem that we're going to be dealing with for quite a while. In fact, through the weekend into early next week, and maybe last a lot longer than that when you have the reoccurring problems, the wind and the rain moving out, but then the problem of trying to restore services to so many people that need it, that's going to be another huge issue. It's an issue that a great deal of America is concerned with. And with that concern, you know what? We've got a full team here at the Weather Channel that's going to keep you up to speed, including your friend and mine, Dr. Rick Knapp. Dr. Knapp, you know, it really is a thing that when we see these systems come on shore, we can't forget about the problems that may come with it as it surges further inland.
Yeah, and it's just beginning in the Charlotte area, and even points north and west of there will eventually get it. And once it starts, it's going to last a long time because of the very slow motion and the extraordinarily large size of this tropical storm. And there are so many flash flood warnings currently in effect over central and eastern North Carolina, starting into South Carolina. And you can imagine once the center gets farther inland, these bands will continue on the coast. So that's why this is going to be a long-lasting inland and coastal event. Most widespread power outages closer to the coast, but they're likely far, far inland, all the way into the Appalachians. Asheville, for example, could experience power outages. And the flash flooding tomorrow night into Sunday will start to extend farther and farther inland. We got the flash flood emergencies in this area. Imagine some of that will start to take shape farther inland. And then look at what we're expecting for Sunday. Very likely some damaging, maybe even deadly flash floods if people aren't careful and stay off the roads in places like Charlotte, North Carolina. So this is why you can't assume that just because you don't live near the coast that this isn't going to be a very destructive, dangerous system. Myrtle Beach, your rain is on the increase, so is your storm surge as we approach high tide.
At Land's End, comfort is in our jeans. We build in features that matter, like a no-gap waist, improved stretch, and jeans for men that put comfort first with Flex built in. No matter how much walking, sitting, dancing, or jumping through hoops your day requires, you're going to look and feel amazing. Guaranteed. Period.
The moment you realize you're lucky your backyard is in the back.
At Lowe's, we have everything you need to keep your yard looking great. Shop Lowe's and get 4 one-quart mums for $10.
As animal lovers, we assume that everyone is going to treat animals kindly. When you realize that that's not the case, it's shocking. Animals are abused in so many ways. Sometimes seeing the cruelty and what happens to these animals is almost too painful to watch. You can look at those images and just be so angry that anyone could do that to an animal.
Animals are abused every day, and they can't ask for help. They endure indescribable acts of violence, but they're without a voice. Without a voice to say they're frightened and in pain. They're alone, they're scared, and they need your help. Visit us at joinaspca.org or call this number now and sign up with your monthly donation. The situation is urgent, so please don't delay. It's only 63 cents a day, and you'll help rescue animals who are suffering. Do it in the next 10 minutes, and we'll send you the photo of an animal from our shelter and a free ASPCA t-shirt.
When you look directly into their eyes, you do see into their heart all of the suffering, all of the pain. If they had a voice, they would say, please help me. These animals don't have any way out. They don't have any escape. They need people like us to actually be the ones to stand up and say, I will help you.
It's a painful and horrifying life for these animals. But for just 63 cents a day, you can change everything. It could be the most important thing you do today. Please sign up now.
That's a mini wheat. Delicious. But it's more than that. 10 layers of crunchy wheat to fill you up on big days. Whether your day involves steam, mountains, or fire, we've got your breakfast right here. Is your breakfast built for big days?
Rain will be the name of the game here in Wilmington, North Carolina, as we go through our really entire weekend. I'm meteorologist Alex Wilson, live here in the city that was battered by over 100-mile-per-hour gusts this morning as the western eye wall of Hurricane Florence, then Hurricane Florence, moved on shore, made landfall not far from here in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, around 7:15 local time. Power has been out throughout the day across the community. The Waffle House, I'm sure you saw Jim Cantori up there. They're without power, but they're using gas to cook what they can for the first responders and other people who may be looking for a hot meal right now and don't have the ability to make it for themselves. The threats are not over, even though now the wind's relaxing a bit. You know, earlier, or even this evening, just within the last hour, we've seen some really strong gusts, and we still will be watching for gusty winds as we go through the overnight when you get some of those heavier bands move in. But The rain, it's not going to let up as we go overnight, and it's not going to let up tomorrow. We'll continue as we go through the weekend, and we'll be measuring rainfall in feet here in Wilmington by the time we're done with slow-moving Florence. That will be the biggest danger, perhaps the deadliest threat from this, and it's not just for parts of eastern North and South Carolina, like areas in Wilmington, but also areas well inland, communities that could get swamped by some of these tropical downpours. So unfortunately, we know that there are problems yet to come. Here in Wilmington, it's not just the freshwater or the rainfall flooding we're concerned about or that we've seen, but we've already seen that push of water from the Cape Fear River here. It reached its highest level on record. National Weather Service Wilmington confirmed that earlier. And we've seen it moving over the boardwalk here, right along the river, a river walk, a popular place for people to walk their kids, take the dogs, and that was swamped with water, and we think that'll be an issue, Mark, moving into tomorrow, because that persistent southerly, southeasterly flow is not ending anytime soon because Florence just won't budge.
And let's face it, it's moving at 3 miles per hour. That is a leisurely walk speed. So you could walk along with this hurricane at that same pace, right? That is just unbelievable. What was Hurricane Florence, now Tropical Storm Florence, but don't put your guard down. The impacts continue. Look at this. Morehead City, my goodness, 23.04 inches of rain. That is not a current stat. That was just the most recent one that we have. So it's likely a higher number than that, which would put it very close to already breaking that record for the wettest tropical system coming through North Carolina. We still have a tornado threat through the rest of this evening. Tornado watch continues in eastern North Carolina until 11. We will likely need a new one after that because these outer bands will continue to have that spin. In fact, it's not just today, it's not just tonight. Tomorrow, we will continue to have a threat of severe weather, including tornadoes, eastern North Carolina into eastern South Carolina. So yes, people then places that haven't gotten into that tornado threat yet may very well do so as we continue on. We're watching this big spin, right? The center of our circulation is just barely onshore right here and barely crawling, but all of this is just an onshore onslaught. So we still have the impacts here with regards to surge. All of these green kind of pickled colors, those are flash flood warnings. A couple of those are flash flood emergencies. Wind speeds increasing around Columbia, close to 45-mile-per-hour gusts. Around Charleston, 30 to 35-mile-per-hour gusts. Ongoing water issues, flash flooding outside of Wake Forest on US 1A. Trees down because of big winds west of Raleigh, and even water rescues that were needed in the Goldsboro area. Power issues continue to become just staggering in their magnitude. The numbers of outages continue to increase. There are now at least 5 different counties of North Carolina, all with more than 50,000 customers each without power. The worst of it is in New Hanover, where 113,000 customers are without power, so the state number is at 732. The South Carolina outages are on the increase. Horry County has been red for a while, 72,000, but Florence and Marion are now both above 10,000 customers each with regards to outages. So Reynolds, that story is going to continue as we go out to Reynolds Wolf. And in your area, in Charlotte, Reynolds, the rain is really just starting to move in. The wind is just starting to move in. The power outages will begin and increase there as well.
Absolutely. You know, with the unwelcome things that are moving in, there is some welcome thing that has also moved in. That's part of the new population, so to speak, a temporary population that is now booming in parts of Charlotte, and that are the power line workers. We've met gentlemen that have been from Mississippi, from Michigan, folks that have been from really all corners of America, including Texas. They're here, and they're on standby, waiting for the wind and the rain to die down. And as soon as that happens, they do quite a bit of work. Let's be honest, they do a ton of work. They clear out the roadways, they put those lines back up, they restore powers that are so desperate for people, that people desperately have to have, say for your hospitals, the electricity that you have to have. It truly is something that's truly important. And the thing that's going to cause all of it is obviously the wind, but also the rain. Take a look at the rain story that we have for you, beginning with what we can anticipate in Charlotte. The Queen City, we could deal with anywhere from, say, 6 to 8 inches of rainfall, maybe as much as 10. And the key thing to remember is those may be a little bit on the light side. If this thing slows down, we may have areas that could pop up in excess of a foot. In Charlotte, if you have 3 inches of rainfall that falls at quick duration, you could have some problems. But this is going to be something we could be seeing, that high amount of rainfall that could extend all the way into Monday, perhaps even Tuesday. So huge issue. The heaviest rainfall, obviously, out along the coast. But when you go farther into the western half of the state, higher elevation, orographic lift plays a huge part. Again, as I said a short while ago, we've got a full team assembled to give you and your friends and your family the information that's so crucial, so critical to stay safe. So you're going to want to keep it here through the weekend on the Weather Channel. Someone you'll see quite a bit. You'll hear his wisdom. That is Dr. Rick Knabb. Dr. Knabb, you've been telling us for days and days what we could expect along the coast. Unfortunately, tragically, that has become a reality, and still it's unfolding and will continue to unfold for days to come.
Yeah, and flash flooding continues to go up the scale in terms of the danger and the urgency, and life-threatening situations unfolding in many parts of North Carolina, and this is headed to South Carolina. Look at all of the flash flood warnings. Some of these are emergencies. I want to highlight some of the most recently issued ones. This is a new extended flash flood warning in the Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach area in Horry County, surrounding areas till 2:30 a.m. And as it gets dark, it's going to get harder and harder to see how much water's on the roadways. Water could be rising, and it's at some point overnight, you're going to get onshore flow to back up any drainage the rivers are trying to do out into the ocean. Wilmington, flash flood warning till 2:15 a.m., and you will continue to get onshore flow, and we're approaching the midnight high tide cycle, so that's going to make this combined saltwater, freshwater problem even worse. Now, in the Jacksonville, North Carolina area, there's a flash flood warning, but that nasty band that has been going through Morehead City up into the central part of the state, that's over you. That situation could become even more dire, and we still have the flash flood emergency here in Morehead City and New Bern, another area where we could have some storm surge flooding, and we still have this flash flood emergency up in the Goldsboro area. If you've heard that you need to get out from flash flooding and you can't, call 911 from the highest part of your structure. We're here to keep you safe. Stay with us.
For those who thirst for more, Coors Light is colder, cleaner, and crisper to refresh you for what's next. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
You can drink, eat well, and exercise, but to look completely healthy, you need healthy skin. Cetaphil Water-Like Moisturizers immediately rehydrate skin for continuous hydration, day and night. Complete your healthy routine with Cetaphil.
In just days, Publishers Clearinghouse awards the $2,500 a week Forever Prize. Win $2,500 a week for your life. Then after that, someone you choose gets $2,500 a week for their life. Don't miss your final chance to win. Enter at PCH.com, and October 26th, win forever.
I'm missing out on our family outings because I can't find a bladder leakage product that fits. Everything was too loose. But Depend Fit Flex feels tailored to me.
Introducing more sizes for better comfort. New Depend Fit Flex underwear is guaranteed to be your best fit.
Season after season.
I've smoked for over 20 years.
The Colorado Quit Line is a service that offers free one-on-one coaching and nicotine patches or gum.
They helped me define my goals, define what my triggers were, what would make me want to have that cigarette again.
Coaches work with you to develop a personalized plan together.
It makes a world of difference than just going to a website and gives you tips on how to quit.
Free patches, gum, and lozenges are delivered to your door. Coaches listen and understand. They are non-judgmental and confidential.
I really don't think that I could have done it without some of the small tools that they gave me to help me through the bad times.
You are 7 times more likely to quit with help. Enroll online or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW today.
All the rain in the forecast created the opportunity for the perfect crime.
Storm of Suspicion premieres October 7th.
Colon cancer screening for people 50 and older at average risk.
I think it's time for a new screen. For a different kind of screen. For colon cancer. Thought about it? His wife asked about screening options, and her doctor ordered me. I'm Cologuard, the non-invasive test you use at home. No special drink. Just a trip to the bathroom.
Cologuard, colon cancer screening that's as easy as get, go, gone. Cologuard is not right for everyone, so ask your doctor if it's right for you.
Currently in our area, 87 degrees under sunny skies. Tonight, generally clear. Low 59. Winds south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, sunny skies. High 94. West-southwest winds shifting to east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, a mostly clear sky. Low 62. Winds south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Brand new video into us as we have been tracking Florence, and we were cautioning everyone to take their pets with them. Maybe these were strays and not just house cats, but they were certainly looking for some dry ground, and some good Samaritans saw those cats jumping into the water, which, if you know cats, that's not their favorite place to be, but they also don't seem to like the people all that much as they are clawing their way off of the people that are trying to get them into safer areas. The good news here is that they were indeed brought out of the flood and to drier ground. Despite their protesting, they were brought into drier areas. So for all of you that are going to reach out to us and find out and hope to get updates from and about the cats, they are put into the boat and taken to much safer conditions than they were in at the time. And hopefully that little guy or girl can dry off, because it does not look very happy to be there. Speaking of the cat's meow, we know that Alex Wilson has been out in the rain for the bulk of the day. Alex can't go to anyone else after doing an animal video, and that one had a good ending. So hopefully the rest of the animal stories will be just as good.
Right, yeah, you know, you hope a lot of people got the memo. I know here at the hotel, a lot of people did evacuate with their pets, and that's what you love to see. You know, you've got to bring pets along with you because, you know, they need safety just as much as you do. And, yeah, even though those cats were, I guess, a little cranky about their rescue, they knew that it needed to be done, right? Here in Wilmington, you know, we want people and their pets to stay put. If you're in a safe spot, if you're in a dry spot, that's where you need to stay, because unfortunately the rain is going to continue, not just tonight, not just tomorrow, but through the weekend, and that's going to allow for an increasing flood danger. We've already seen flash flooding reports across the region, flash flood emergencies posted for the area, and unfortunately we think those numbers are going to go up as we head through the weekend. We are very likely going to set the state rainfall record for rain from a tropical system. We've seen just over 23 inches in one location. The record is just over 24 inches. So just about a slam dunk that we're going to break that record. That's going to be no problem. But what happens beyond that? We could be looking at 30, 35, 40 inches of rainfall here across this region. And Dr. Nab, you know, when you talk about how much is too much for a community of any sort to handle, that's absolutely no question. You're going to be dealing with significant flooding.
Yeah, significant flooding both from fresh water from the rainfall and salt water from the ongoing storm surge. Let's look at the radar, and I'll show you all the places that have flash flood warnings in effect, and some of those are flash flood emergencies, including in Carteret County and farther up into the Goldsboro area. We have a flash flood warning in the Myrtle Beach area, and these flash flood warnings could make the transformation to emergencies where it becomes even more dire if the rainfall continues. And overnight, we're going to hit high tide around midnight, and we still have storm surge warnings in effect in these coastal areas. So that's when we could have the combined fresh and saltwater flooding, and we can't assume that just because the center has come ashore that we're not going to continue to have storm surge, especially at high tide tonight. That's going to occur. So In the coastal areas, this is even worse because of the onshore push, because whatever falls into the rivers can't exit out into the ocean and will be held in by the onshore flow. Very likely flash flooding in much of North and South Carolina tomorrow into Sunday, and it goes farther inland, including the Charlotte area, into the Appalachians as we go to the end of the weekend. So I want to tell everybody what to do about this. Main thing is to stay off the roads. Don't drive under any water-covered road or any closed road. Don't go into the water at all. You don't know what's in there. And evacuate if officials are telling you to do so. But if you're trapped in your home and you don't think you can safely evacuate and the water's rising, go to the highest level of your home and call 911, because it might be just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, to try to walk or drive out of that area. And don't touch any electrical equipment that is wet. Speaking of electricity, a lot of it's going to be going out. Not just in these areas closer to the coast where the storm is now, but it's likely that power outages will extend farther inland and even into the Appalachians and the Asheville area. Raleigh is another one of those locations. So here's another list of things to do to stay safe. Power outages can be surprisingly dangerous and deadly. Operate those generators outdoors, not in the garage, away from the buildings. Don't use candles or other open flames, too much of a fire risk. Stay away from those down power lines. We've seen videos of some of the live lines. Don't touch them or anything they're touching, including water. And if you are needing to go somewhere else to take shelter and you have life-sustaining medical equipment, go to some place that has backup power. Mike, with inland flooding and with power outages, I think people underestimate their danger, so we really, really want to keep everybody alive during this very dangerous weekend ahead.
Listen, it gets really dangerous at night too, Dr. Nab. Listen, night has come here in Myrtle Beach, and our power outages have gone up tremendously today. We've got 136,000 customers now in South Carolina that have lost power, and that number's likely to go up, okay? So remember what the dangers will be tonight. It's dark. And as Dr. Nab was talking about, this is now your opportunity to use your lanterns and your flashlights. Hunker down in your home. And don't venture out in this. It's going to be very dangerous for you tonight. There won't be street lights. There won't be power. You won't necessarily be able to see as well as you want to, right? So just inside tonight and watch for the possibility of fallen trees as well. Hey, folks, we're going to stay with you here through the night. Our team coming back with extensive coverage at the top of the hour. Be safe here tonight.
911 emergency. My husband, he's having trouble breathing.
First responders hear it a lot. And everyone age 65 and older needs to hear it too. The flu and its complications can be deadly, especially for those with a chronic medical condition. That's why there are higher strength flu vaccines made for seniors. Ask your doctor or pharmacist for a senior flu shot. Do it today before the flu becomes an emergency.
911, she has the flu. Please hurry.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein and 26 vitamins and minerals. Ensure, now up to 30 grams of protein for strength and energy.
He was diagnosed with a large tumor. St. Jude gave us our son back. This place is saving children every day.
Que él está bien, porque gracias a St. Jude me están dando una esperanza de vida para él.
1 in 5 children diagnosed with cancer in the U.S. will not survive. You can join the battle to save lives during Childhood Cancer Awareness Month by supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Without St. Jude and without the research they've done, I may not have my daughter.
Families never receive a bill from St. Jude for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because all a family should worry about is helping their child live.
What's that?
Please call or go online right now and become a St. Jude Partner in Hope for only $19 a month.
I hope they find the cure for cancer so you can go back to being normal and be stronger.
They share their research, so it's saving children around the world.
When you join with your credit or debit card right now, we'll send you this St. Jude t-shirt you can wear to show your support for the children of St. Jude.
To people who have donated, I would say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wish I could shake each and every one of your hands.
I cannot thank them enough. I wish they could see the lives they're changing.
St. Jude won't stop until no child dies from cancer.
St. Jude is giving us, hopefully, a future. They've given me my son.
Go online or call with your $19 monthly gift. Let's end childhood cancer together.
Lovely. How does one make such delightful cucumber sandwiches?
Frank's Red Hot sauce, Your Majesty. I put that on everything.
Frank's Red Hot Original, the perfect blend of flavor and heat.
From right here where my mailbox, my mother's mailbox is there, it is at least 2 feet deep. And each time you go to the next mailbox, you're dropping like 2 feet.
Florence battering the Carolinas tonight. The massive storm still at it, bringing heavy rain, destructive flooding, a 10-foot storm surge. Neighborhoods underwater as we speak. Tonight, our team remains out there covering it all for you. We have Alex Wilson along the North Carolina coast. Mike Bettis is on the South Carolina coast. We have a team of storm trackers out in the field and a team of hurricane experts here in the studio. We've got a lot to get to tonight as this massive storm slows down. And this is a lot of what we're seeing tonight. Storm surge covering coastal cities in water. This is Carolina Beach just hours ago. At least a foot of water here, higher in some spots. And the heavy rain coming down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina tonight. There's a live look. Right now, our Mike Bettis is there, and we're going to check in with him in just a few minutes. Winds gusting to 40 miles per hour, and the torrential downpours continue. First, Wilmington, North Carolina, also still getting slammed tonight by Florence. The Weather Channel's Alex Wilson is there live tonight. And Alex, boy, this has certainly been a marathon, not a sprint.
It really has. You know, we saw this storm make landfall around 7:15, not far from here. That was 7:15 a.m., by the way. Wrightsville Beach is where it made landfall. But throughout late yesterday, the overnight hours, and then especially this morning, we saw the winds pick up, the rain coming down. And it really hasn't changed throughout the day. Yeah, we're not seeing the 100+ mile per hour gusts that we saw earlier this morning, but winds 50 to 60 miles an hour have been the norm throughout the afternoon. And even this evening, I would say 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts. I would say because we actually lost the ASOS site that's recording the wind speeds over at the Wilmington airport. So last reporting wind gusts earlier this afternoon of over 50 miles an hour. But we've definitely seen those go down. What has not stopped, though, is the rainfall. You'll get a break from time to time, and then just as soon as you get that break and you feel like you're drying off a bit, more heavy rain comes, and these are tropical downpours that are coming down here in Wilmington and other communities across eastern North Carolina, eastern South Carolina as well, and the rain continues to pile up. The problem here in Wilmington is water is piling up as well from the river. The Cape Fear River hit its highest level on record today, and we're seeing it move actually south to north rather than north to south. And so the flooding rains that are coming, that water doesn't have anywhere to go because the water from the river's already pushing on shore and already high. So that's why we're going to be dealing with that almost combination of onshore flooding as well as freshwater flooding. Now, you get away from the river, and flash flooding will, of course, be a concern, as will river flooding moving forward. Jackie, there are so many threats that are going to come from water out of this storm, and it's just not stopping because this storm is just not moving.
What an incredible day it has been. We want to get you caught up now on what we know about Florence. Tonight, nearly 900,000 customers are without power, the most across North Carolina tonight, with over 750,000. 5 people now confirmed dead. A flash flood emergency, including New Bern, North Carolina. Hundreds of people were rescued there overnight, and now we're measuring rain in feet. Wilmington goes under a curfew starting at 10 o'clock tonight until 6 a.m. tomorrow. We want to get to our storm specialist, Carl Parker, who's been tracking this all for you. And Carl, just incredible the rainfall amounts in this one persistent band where it's still coming down.
Yeah, you know, this is such a profound example of when people say it's only a Category 2 or only a Category 1, why that may not matter at all in some cases. This is really one of those cases where you've got such a slow-moving system, such a large system, and you're getting so much rain over the same areas that the impact is going to be devastating. It is already in many spots, and we've got a long way to go before this is all said and done. So that center of circulation very close to Myrtle Beach right now, moving extremely slowly to the west at 3 miles per hour. And look at this band that is now driving into areas near Morehead City. This is a 3-hour radar loop that has barely moved in that time, and the result has been an incredible amount of rain. That's the 24-hour rainfall, very large area of greater than 5 inches of rain. But then within that, this is a pocket of 12 to 18 inches of rain that has come in with the system, and we've gotten some reports that are on the order of 14 inches in some areas here. So there's an ongoing flash flood emergency in effect for Carteret, Craven, and Pamlico counties. We are hearing about widespread flooding of homes, businesses, and roads in this area. And we actually heard from the National Weather Service. They are saying that this is a terribly dangerous situation. Most roads are impassable, and citizens are losing time to evacuate. This has gotten very, very bad indeed. And now in the county to the west, there is not now a flash flood emergency, but there are persistent rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour. Jones and Onslow County, that's going to be another area of concern. Also a flash flood emergency in Johnston and Wayne counties. That, excuse me, that is going until 10 p.m. And we've got a flash flood warning in effect in Raleigh, North Carolina. That's going until 12:45 in the morning. About 3 inches of rain has fallen there. So widespread flash flood warnings across the central and eastern part of the state there. And so we just want to reiterate, do not drive into water at any time. Do not go around barricades. And if you're in trouble, go to the highest level and you need to call 911. And let's go back out to Alex Wilson now, reporting from Wilmington. And Alex, you know, it is just unbelievable how long of a duration we're looking at here. We're going to be in this tomorrow, all day tomorrow, and then even into Sunday as well. It's only going to be lifting up into the western part of the state.
And Carl, I got to keep you up because I would imagine these rainfall rates are anywhere from 1 to 3 inches an hour, correct?
Oh, yeah, no question about that. Certainly so. You know, I'm going to take a look at the radar where you are. Certainly so farther east and up the coast towards Carteret County. I think as you look at Myrtle Beach, we've got some slightly lower rainfall rates. In fact, we can actually query this right now and get a sense. I'll go to some of the highest areas just northwest of Myrtle Beach, and so we're not seeing as high a rainfall rate there. I would guess it's probably getting up to about an inch in some spots. But certainly with those bigger bands that are coming in farther north and east, that's where we're getting 2 to 3 inches per hour. So it's been just remarkable rainfall. We've got so much more in the way. This is a look at the HRRR model, the HRRR model. And this model is showing us this exceptionally slow motion and the onshore flow. And that's a real problem because as the water is running down through the rivers and trying to drain back out to the ocean, it's not able to do that. It's not able to push back out into the ocean because of that onshore flow in so many of these spots. So tomorrow morning, still raining in a lot of the very same areas, Alex, Wilmington on northward, right into the afternoon. You've still got it coming down there in Wilmington. So I think this flash flood threat and perhaps these emergencies are only going to grow over the next couple of days here. Over to you.
Right. Yeah, I'm afraid of that too, because you're exactly right. That Cape Fear River is pushing onshore, so that water really has nowhere to go. Carl, you mentioned Myrtle Beach, where the rainfall rates may be picking up in the coming hours, but also they've been in the thick of it in terms of the wind today. That's where we find Mike Bettis.
Well, Florence has delivered a punch in the gut today here in the Grand Strand of South Carolina in Myrtle Beach. Incredibly gusty winds today. That's taken down power lines and trees, and we've got excessive power outages now throughout South Carolina. The numbers have just gone up through the day and through the night. It was still very gusty winds overnight tonight, and torrential rain still coming down. We think those numbers are only going to climb. And now there's an ongoing concern that the heavy rain is going to cause huge flood issues, not only potentially at the coast, in a place like Myrtle Beach, but inland as well. We'll be worried about the track of Florence at a place like Conway, a place like Florence, a place like Columbia, could all have serious flood issues for at least the next 24 hours, if not longer. And that the problem is Florence is moving so slowly, it's taking its good old time getting out of here, that we're going to have prolonged issues with the flooding. The thing about it also is this: as Florence moves away, we'll get the backside of Florence. Okay, that means the winds come down. Gradually, the rain tapers. However, we'll then get an onshore flow, whereas all day long today and through the night, we'll have an offshore flow. Storm surge has been no issue whatsoever. Tomorrow it could be with an onshore flow. That means the Atlantic Ocean comes up. Remember, we drain the water out of our river basins, then our storm drains out to the Atlantic. So if the water's higher in the Atlantic, we can't effectively drain the rainwater and the floodwater away, which means the floodwaters could stay up in neighborhoods longer than you may normally expect, and then they may rise more than you would normally expect, especially with ongoing rain. Curfew still in effect, 7 to 7, and keep this in mind too, folks. Emergency services may not respond to your 911 call because the weather has been too poor for fire or police to respond to any 911 calls. So you're hunkered down tonight, you're without power, and in many instances, you're without water as well. That's the latest here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm meteorologist Mike Bettis.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. I want to get some city-specific timing so we know what is still yet to come in a place like Myrtle Beach, because, Jackie, that's one of the areas where we're going to continue to deal with Florence into the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely, even into Monday, and then we'll be dealing with river flooding well beyond that. So let's talk about some of the specific impacts. We're going to start out with Wilmington, and we're going to still be experiencing some of those strong tropical storm force wind gusts tonight, through the day tomorrow, even into Saturday night. But those stronger gusts that could reach hurricane force are now beginning to peter out. And so, but we could still see damage regardless of that. Rainfall amounts, this is on top of what you already have. And I know it's just incredible to think of that, but we're talking another 12 to 18 inches. So that's another foot or foot and a half of rain. And then storm surge, of course, up to 5 feet. Now, Myrtle Beach, we've noticed your winds are beginning to change direction. Our winds are coming in out of the southwest, so we'll watch for that change to that onshore flow that Mike Bettis was talking about. And we're looking at wind gusts continuing in this area between now and Saturday night. So we're talking at least 24 hours plus where we're going to have winds strong enough to continue to cause damage. And keep in mind, with the ground getting